Justice Warriors, Justice League. I know it's not like me to come on in the evening hours, but it's just been that kind of day. And I wanted to come on. So rather than skipping it, I'm just doing an early evening or super late afternoon live. I hope that you can join me. Oh, and I totally forgot to text my mods to let them know. Oh, too many things going on. Anyway, Fred's here. That's cool. That's all that matters. I got you, Fred. We're good to go. How are you? Good evening. Yeah. It's been quite a day. So, and Sherry's here. I don't know if either of you were in Shan's lives last night, because when I'm on the panel, I'm often not looking at the chat, because if I'm reading the chat, then I'm distracted from the conversation on the panel. So I was up super late last night on a couple of Shan's lives, and therefore I've been super tired all day and just having trouble getting the things accomplished that I have to do in order to, get paid for my job. So I did it. I did it. I got to work on time. I did my full day. It's all good. But I'm a little loopy, and that's okay, because I wanted to just come on and kind of direct people to watch Shan's lives from last night if you haven't seen them yet. I will link them in the description, which it probably won't allow me to do that until tomorrow. So you know where to find Squirrels on Fire's channel. And I'll tell you why. I'm just going to probably do a short video. Although if you guys want to chat, then maybe I'll do longer if I can read it and if I can stay awake. But there's some crucial information I feel like that we struck last night in this very spontaneous, unplanned, like that's usually the best things in life are spontaneous and unplanned, right? Wasn't it John Lennon who said, life is what happens when you're in the process of planning, or something like that? I don't know. I'm too tired to think of quotes. Anyway, oh, Squirrels on Fire, you're here. Gee whiz, girlfriend. I meant to text you, and yeah, thanks so much for being here, everybody. Rachel Smith and Fred and Alice Morrell and Annie Ruler. Shan, you guys are awesome. So let's do a little bit of house cleaning. I think you might be able to see my freaking thumb button. I totally can't see it at all, but I bet you that you can. So it's right there. Hit that like button, whether you like it or not. No, I'm just kidding. If you don't like it, that's cool. You can hit the thumbs down. Okay. Share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to ring if you like that sort of thing. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Thank you to those that are here live. Thank you to the replay crew. So Shan, I was coming on live, sorry to jiggle that. I was coming on simply to tell people to go watch your lives from last night. And this was my takeaway. I had a chance to review them today while I was working. So the two biggest things I felt like were probably in the second video. So the first video, the first live, went dead after slightly over an hour, which I found interesting. Oh, I didn't do my disclaimer. Everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation. Always trying to open up a discussion and be educational and become wiser, get some education if and where I can. If and when I can. All my videos to date have been made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. So all that out of the way. Shan's live got cut like about an hour in last night. Her first one, she did a second one. And my live yesterday got cut slightly over an hour in. And I apologize for not being able to come back on just to tie up the loose ends. I just made a comment in the comment sections and said, oops, sorry. I thought it was an internet problem. I thought the Wi-Fi went dark for a moment or something. But then when Shan's thing happened last night, I'm like, I don't know, maybe there's technical difficulties and glitches with the YouTube and the ether and all that. Maybe it's my cell phone, maybe it's her equipment, maybe it's just a coinky dink. But, you know, I thought there's the outside possibility and chance that we're hitting on some truths that people don't want us to be discussing. I don't know. I'm not trying to toot our horns, Shan. I just know that you and I and a bunch of the people here in our chat are extremely persistent, and that's got to be really annoying to the people that want to, you know, keep secrets in Truckee. So, a couple of the takeaways that I got, the big, for me, two of them. Tell me what you think, Shan. Was when we came on to the second one, and you, before I came back on, you had said something about, I want to know which Nate it was that Kylie was dating. And I think it was you and Billy Darling were on there discussing that. And I was trying to get onto the panel. And then when I came on, you know, I waited a few minutes because you guys were talking about other stuff. But then I asked, not wanting to be annoying because I didn't know if it might be. I thought it could be left field, but I was like, is there a possibility that the Nate that she was dating is the son of Sheriff Wu? And you, Shand, seem to think that that was potentially feasible, which I found surprising because I didn't know. I don't know. I did a lot of digging on those, that family, the sheriff, you know, with the whole affidavit and all that crap, and where they live, which of course I'm not going to dox them. They're public figures. So, you know, you can look it up if you do your own research. And the high school that they went to, because they didn't go to Truckee High School. They didn't live in Truckee. You know, they live in Placer County, of course. But I don't know. There's a lot of Nates, and you know, we've kind of all been under the assumption, I think, so far that Scammy is being protected, and a Hamburglar might be having serious protection from his connections. And then we know that there's allegedly 8 people, minors or not minors, young adults, that maybe 1 or 2 of them is minors. I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe they were back then, but they're probably all over 18 by now. Anyway, that there were 8 that had law enforcement, parents, or close relatives. And I have not been able to identify more than like 4 of them. And I think I discussed this just a few days ago. Like Kate Cunyo, Nate Wu. Who else, Shan? You mentioned a couple others. So, Anna Bean, hello. Hey, is that Bex? Hey, Bex. Nate Wu would be like my 4th or 5th choice, if at all, because of his alleged age. You know, he had already graduated, I think. He was at least 18, I think, when the party happened. He might have just graduated. Anyway, it was months ago when I was digging all that up, because that sheriff, I think, has 4 kids. He was going through a divorce when all that garbage that he involved himself in with the poor, what do they call those, explorers? When young people want to just do ride-alongs with law enforcement, I think they're called explorers. But you know, the one that was 16, the one that he set up a termination for conception. Like, seriously? Yeah, seriously, allegedly, according to that affidavit that that judge wrote, the May 15th, 2022 affidavit. So he wasn't installed into that position, I don't think, until about July 7th of 2022. So then a month later, another 16-year-old goes missing. The girl that was his ride along was 16. And yeah. Gross, completely gross. And then he tried to say, well, he didn't know how old she was, but he admitted to the whole thing. That's the real clincher. He admitted to doing it, you guys. He freaking straight up admitted it. That's crazy. And then he tried to say he didn't know how old she was, which is also completely insane because they're going to have documentation of all that. You're going to have to be fingerprinted and background checked before you're going to do a freaking ride along. They're going to have your date of birth. Give me a break. Anyway, enough about all that. Yeah, I didn't think that he was really a contender. I thought that it was the Hamburglar that she grew up kind of being next door neighbors with. But then when you were saying that maybe it was this other Nate, I forget which one you were saying, but anyway, there's a whole bunch of Nates, and isn't that convenient? You know, it's sort of like the shell game. Just keep it really confusing. Like, well, which Nate? And then there's Nate C, the one that got arrested for the fentanyl overdose of the 15-year-old. Was her name like Angel Marie or something like that? You guys know. That was so sad. So anyway, the other big takeaway right before we wrapped up the second hour that we were doing, Shan and Billy were digging, and I fell off the panel, and then when I got back on, they were digging into the salaries of people that are employed by the Placer County Sheriff's Department, you guys, and it was astonishing. There's a whole bunch of deputies that are making upwards of $500,000 a year, Shan, is that right? You know, only $250,000 a year from their deputy stuff, but then, you know, they had all these other gigs going on in all parts of the state because, you know, they can be in two places at once. One of them that stands out the most was the one who was like the supervising director of like the waterworks in Los Angeles. What? Am I making this up, Shan? I mean, it was really late at night. I was fighting to stay awake, but I was just like, holy caboli, like you hit some pay dirt, girl, like figuratively and literally. So I think that these are really important issues to stay focused on. So please try to watch both of Shan's lives from last night if you can, if you have a chance. And they're funny, you know, Shan and Lala and Billy Darling. I think that the four of us were the only people on the panel, but there might be one or two that I'm not remembering. Like I said, I was really fighting to stay awake. And then I was up so late, and then I just like I slept in and I got to work on time, but barely. I literally didn't have a minute to spare. Anyway, I'm here. You guys are here. Something 350,000 to 480,000 seems overpaid, in my opinion. Absolutely. The 28th was autofill. Sorry. I missed what that was. So yeah, and what is today? It's Thursday the 14th, and I started this live at about 4:45. So thanks again for being here, you guys. I'm happy to chat with you. I'm, like I said, I'm reiterating, super loopy. So I wasn't planning on doing a long live. I just wanted to hit those points home. And I don't know, now that I've said it, I'm like, that's no big deal. No, but the money thing is a huge deal. And of course, if these things are true about all of these young adults at the party being related to law enforcement, then of course it makes a lot more sense why there's a huge cover-up. But what is most important, in my opinion, is looking at dishonest law enforcement. So, you know, that Yosemite Sam Brown and, you know, the woo-woo train and all of them, I mean, just a bunch of dirtbags, in my humble opinion. I'm allowed to have that opinion. I think they're scum. I really do. And whatever it is that happened that night, whatever it is that happened to Kylie Rodney needs to be out in the open. It needs to be transparent. Kylie Rodney's soul cannot rest at peace, in my opinion, until the truth is out there, until justice is served, in my opinion. So, you know, I'm one of the people, I know you guys are, I know Shan is, I know there's a lot of us, you know, we're kind of few and far between, but there are quite a few of us who are really passionate about Kylie's predicament or situation or incident, whatever you want to call it. It's a thing. It's a situation. It's an incident. It needs to be clarified. It needs to be aired out. That girl had her life stolen from her. She deserves truth. She deserves justice. Her life matters, and all victims' lives matter. So let's see. That was one of my mods trying to call me. So that's what I get for not sending out the text that going live in 5. So yeah, those salaries are way too big. You know, yeah, it's expensive to live in California, but law enforcement shouldn't be raking in $250,000 or $500,000. Even the police chief of Maui, like that's probably more than he was making. You know, he conned his way into getting a giant pay increase as soon as he got there. So he's making upwards of $200K. But that's unusual. And we all know that Maui is one of the most expensive places to live in our entire country. Like New York City and Maui are probably the top 2. I'm sure there's others that are right up there with them. But still, like, why would that police chief get a giant pay raise when he had just started and there were over half a dozen complaints lodged against him? That makes no sense. So I've been able to send out some of the prizes that people have been winning. I haven't been able to send out all of the prizes that people have been winning simply because people are not emailing me their addresses. So if you won, let's see, I have them handy. I will show them, I guess. See, look at me, I'm gonna knock everything down. If you won any of these things, please email me, justiceatooz@gmail.com. So we have the black earrings, and I can go back and dig and find who won. Somebody won these just like a week ago. So if you think you're the one that won them, if you were the first person to comment in that video that was about a week ago, and then I responded to your comment with, you won, send me your, email me your address that you want me to send them to. And if you want me to send them to a general delivery, I will. So probably a month ago, somebody, do you guys remember who? Somebody won this necklace with these earrings. And let's see. Yeah, all this stuff is stuff that I've made. So I'm going to set the necklace down. These are the earrings that kind of match, but not really match. They are like a mismatch. You know, I've been trying to do the giveaways and also not have them be a distraction from my main goal here of, you know, shining light on these true crime cases. But it is the holidays, and I do want to get the addresses, and I want to continue. I have a couple more things to give away. So after I wrap up today's. So about a month ago, somebody won this necklace and these earrings. So if you think you're that somebody, and I'll go back and look, I'll find it and then announce it like in the next one. So not today, but the next video I do, which will probably be tomorrow, I'm going to give away this goofy set of stickers that I did not make, but it's like a whole bunch of bottles of alcohol. You guys know I don't drink. That's why I'm giving them away. I don't need them. Bad and Beautiful Decisions, Breaker, What does this one say? This is one of my favorites. It says Infusionist Mystical Unicorn. Do you see that? And then there's like a pirate one. So I think there's about 30. I just dropped one. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to give away the stickers. And then today, when I wrap up, the first person to comment will get these hematite and jet black beaded earrings that I'm wearing. So that's how I'm doing it. Oh, and I still have the cute little airplanes too that somebody won last week. The little teddy bear airplanes. Of course, I didn't make these, but there I'm going to break them. One of them dropped, so I'll just show you the one. Because if I try to reach down and get it, I'm sure I'll whack the whole contraption over. So somebody won these about a week ago. Got to send those out. And then after the Bad and Beautiful Decisions alcoholic stickers, I will also give away these little tiny red, what are they? Like Christmas light beaded earrings. So, so yeah, I've been wanting to do more of the giveaways with the holidays coming, and we're like the 14th, and the holiday is, Christmas Eve is 10 days away, you guys. So if you have some Christmas shopping to do, time to get busy, right? Anyway, where are we at? We're just over 20 minutes, and I'm going to read some of your chat. I did clean my glasses as well as I could. It is afternoon, so there is glare, but I will try to read what I can. Sherry says, justice for Kylie. Sandra says, hey, Jazz, I caught your live. Yay. Alice Morale says, facts. San Francisco, expensive to live too. Big time, Alice, big time. I know, I lived there in the 90s, and it was expensive then, and that's nothing compared to now. Rachel Smith says, that was me, the black earrings. I emailed you. Can you email me again? Because I think that some of my emails I don't get. So if you could email me again tonight, that would be fabulous, and then I can get them off in the mail tomorrow. I would love to send you the black beaded earrings. Yeah, they're cool. Should I show them again? Just because they're really simple. They're actually a match to one of the first prizes, giveaways that I did. I think they're a perfect match. They might not be a perfect match. They might just be close. Anyway, I love black. If you guys haven't noticed, I wear a lot of black. I have the black earrings on. It's just a thing. You know, black is a great backdrop to showcase the cool colors, right? The lights and everything. So anyway, Rachel, justice, ATOOZ@gmail.com, please. And I will be so happy to get those sent off in the mail to you. Cause yeah, I've tried to like slow down the prize winning until I get the last prizes sent off to the people that won them. And, you know, I mean, some of the prizes, the people might not ever send me their addresses. Hold on to them until they do, and if they don't, then so be it. Very kind, Jazz. Well, it's fun, especially with the holidays, you know. And I know it's just cool to win stuff. Like, don't most of us feel like we never win stuff, and then when we do, we're like, woohoo! I won tickets to a Brit Floyd concert a few years ago, and they were freaking amazing. If you guys don't know Brit Floyd, they're like as good as Pink Floyd. They've made careers out of being a cover band for that band for like 25 years or more. And being at their concert, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't Pink Floyd if I didn't already know. I would have been like, oh yeah, it's Pink Floyd. So Brit Floyd, that was cool. And then also a few years ago, I won tickets to a play that I was just like, it was a musical, and I was just like, oh no, what if it's terrible? And it was like one of the best plays I'd ever seen. It was this tiny little troupe of like 5 people from all across the country. And the music was incredible. Their talent was incredible. The set was incredible. The story was incredible. The theater was incredible. And I would have not known any of that if I hadn't won those tickets on the radio. So one sec. And then I was just like, man, I win stuff. I'm a winner. which is bringing to mind one of my favorite songs, and you guys might agree with me. Maybe it's one of your favorite songs. It's one of my kids' favorite songs, which I didn't even know they knew it. Beck, Loser. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? I just think that's the cutest song because it's like, you're having a good life. It doesn't matter if people think you're a loser or if you think you're a winner. It just doesn't matter. Just be you. You do you, boo, right? Anyway, Beck is incredible. He's one of my favorite musicians of all time. All right. Enough about music, enough about jewelry. Let's get back to Kylie, right? And, we could touch on other cases too if you guys want to. The only reason I'm not is because I'm so tired and loopy. But if you want to bring up any cases, go for it, please. And Rachel, I will be so happy to get your address. And yeah, it could be that you sent it and it didn't show up in my email because that has happened with my email. Anyway, let's see. Beck's song Loser is great. Yeah. That song came out around the same time that Kurt Cobain lost his life. That's a good case to cover. Someday I'm going to cover that. I've spoken about it a few times on this channel, and I was one of these people who thought, yeah, he did that to himself, and all these crazy Nirvana fans have this crazy conspiracy theory because they just can't wrap their minds around it. And then I think it was the documentary Soaked in Bleach, or was it a different documentary? It was the one done by the guy with the BBC, the one who interviewed Tom Grant, and he interviewed the lead singer for a punk rock band. I think the lead singer's name was like Diablo or something like that. And then that guy was decapitated on a train track 2 days after he interviewed him. And that guy had told the investigative journalist from the BBC that someone very close to Kurt Cobain had offered him $50,000 to shoot Kurt not too long before Kurt allegedly shot himself, right? So, like I said, then 2 days later, he was decapitated on a train track. So, was his name El Diablo or something else similar? He was like a really lewd, drunk punk rock guy. His music is just hideous, like real violent and misogynistic. But he spoke candidly with the investigative journalist, and then it was over anyway. So Beck is still alive, and he's like married with children, and he was such a young kid when he got super famous. It was pretty wild. And I've told you guys this, both Beck and Nirvana and me and my husband, we were all living in Olympia, Washington at the same freaking time, like 1991, 92, somewhere in there. And that's when Nirvana got traction. That's when Beck got traction. My husband and I got married in 92. We got together in 90. So, we were both huge Beck fans. We both had been to a Nirvana concert on our college campus from before they got famous. We were at the same concert, but we didn't know each other yet. It was small, but anyway, Kurt was so drunk he could not sing. He could barely walk. It was really sad, and it tainted my opinion of him for the next 20 years because I'm so judgmental. And I was in my first year of recovery, and I was only a few months into recovery, and I was just like, how sad. Like, I knew he had just gotten signed. I knew the band was like the next big thing. But I was just like, how freaking sad. I think it was February of 1990 when they played at the Evergreen State College. and it was awful. It sounded like crap, and I was mad because it wasted my time. And I was in my senior year of college, and I had a lot of catching up to do to graduate because I'd been partying the whole freaking time. So that was part of what motivated me to get it together and get professional help. And I did an outpatient program, and man, here I am, like 34 years later, because it was fall of '89. It's amazing. I can't believe it. I barely made it 4 days sober, and here I am 34 years later. So, anyway, there's hope. I was just talking to my 16-year-old kid this morning about addiction and recovery and how bleak the odds are for people that are addicted to getting help and getting sober. It's really sad. It's possible, but you got to get help from someone other than yourself. In my opinion, that's the only way it's ever going to be successful. And even then, it's going to be rough. I highly recommend professional help. I highly recommend the 12-step program. I highly recommend just admitting that you're an addict. I mean, that's the first step, but getting addicted to healthy things, because that's the one different opinion that I have with the 12-step program. Is their theory is that you can't replace one addiction for another addiction. You've got to quit being addicted to things. But once you're an addict, you're always an addict. So my opinion is, like, get addicted to art, get addicted to music, get addicted to clean living habits, get addicted to healthy sleep hygiene, that kind of addiction. Knitting. like things that aren't going to be so detrimental to your health. And of course, anything, if you overdo it, is detrimental to your health. But that's a pivotal point where I differ from the real hardcore 12 steps, is that I do think you need to just replace your substance addiction with other addictions. And I highly recommend painting and drawing and jewelry designing and playing instruments and listening to music, and maybe like puppies and kittens. Those are good addictions too. Anyway, again, here I find myself on this freaking soapbox. It's not even comfortable. So what am I doing here? I just, I love speaking with you guys. That's why I didn't just come and do a short little video to say those two things that I wanted to say. That's why I decided to do a live, was just so I could interact with my viewers, because you guys are so cool. Let's see. And is that Alice that says, I think we're both close in age. Well, I'm always very candid about my age. And then just recently I was like, I'm getting to that age that I shouldn't be so candid. I should be a little more mysterious, right? I was born in '67. So if you math, you might be able to figure out how old I am. But, math, who needs it? Anyway, the math don't math, does it? All these cases, sorry, damn freaking glare, hit close to home to me, Rachel Smith. I was in Keddie, California, when I won, paying my registration time sharp, and the victims of something 28. Am I even reading this accurately? Let me see. I'm going to try to rewind it a little bit. And damn, my little eyelashes, I swear they're like touching the glasses, and it makes it so bad. All these cases hit close to home to me. I was in Keddie, CA, which I have no idea what that is, when I won, paying my respects to Tina Sharp And the victims of Cabin 28. Cabin 28, is that to do with that Casey serial killer? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I'm glad that I reread it because I messed up a lot of those words. Here, let me see what else we got here. Mom, first, always, I sent you your package today. So you should probably get it like the day after tomorrow. Hello, Justice in chat. So yeah, you had 2 things that you won. Hopefully I got it right. What was it? The red teardrop earrings and something else. Another pair of earrings. Which ones? Dang it. You can tell me. The red teardrop earrings. Oh, and the elves. You won the elves. You won those adorable little nutcracker elves. So congratulations. Look for a little like foam Christmas decorated envelope that I bought at the post office. So yeah, you should get that the day after tomorrow, hopefully. If not, then probably Monday. I mean, it is the Christmas season, so it might be a little slow. Anyway, I'm so glad that I got them sent to you today so I could tell you, and it's nice to see you. Never saw Nirvana, but I did see the real Pink Floyd in Oakland. Oh my goodness, amazing. Favorite concert ever. So, aren't they doing a movie about the band Pink Floyd? Anybody who hasn't seen Bohemian Rhapsody about Queen or the I forget what the Elton John movie is called, but both of those, it's probably called Rocket Man, right? Both of those were incredible, in my opinion. And I would love to see a movie about Pink Floyd. Let's see. Congrats on recovery. That's awesome. You know, sobriety is the best gift you can give yourself. And like right now I'm in this yoga training and I'm very challenged by it. And I'm kind of wrapping my mind around like every class that I can go to is like a gift that I can give myself. Every little bit of yoga. And of course, I don't have to be at a class to do it, but I don't do it if I'm not at a class. So, you know, it's like these things that take discipline, they do give you immediate gratification. I mean, I instantly feel great when I'm doing yoga, even when I'm tired and don't really feel like doing it. It's just awesome. Even if it's a hard class and I'm tired and I don't feel like doing it and I'm not able to hold the poses and I'm falling over. It's like, it's still just really good to be trying, right? Just to be doing your best. So yeah, recovery is the bomb diggity. I highly recommend it. Addicted to music, dancing, hiking, swimming. Oh yeah, I am totally addicted to not so much the dancing, but the hiking, the swimming, definitely music. You are welcome, Mom First Always, and thank you for not getting mad when I always call you Moms First Always. I'm silly like that. I like to put letters where there are none. It's an unsolved crime I grew up by. Reminds me of Moscow. Okay, Rachel Smith. Cabin 28. I will look into that. I'm not familiar. If you want to say anything else about it. Yeah, that Moscow case is crappy AF. I'm so freaking sick of the BS, man. The whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. It's just incorrigible. It's one of those situations, in my opinion, where the police are like speaking Truckanese, making no sense at all, but they're police. So people are like, okay, police, whatever you say, that must be true. Yeah, it took a while for the girls to call 911. No, it didn't. It didn't take them a while to call 911. They never called 911, you guys. Bethany and Dylan never freaking called the authorities. They summoned their pals. They summoned their peers. They summoned people from the Greek system. Out of control. The whole case is so freaking out of control. And yeah, Those families need justice, don't they? Ever so slightly. Oh man, it's just infuriating. Hit the like button. 22 here and 11 likes. Well, that's pretty good actually, 50%. Thank you for the info, Fred Field. It was the Division Bell tour of 94. Division Bell tour of 94. I'm assuming you're talking about Pink Floyd. So one of the coolest things I can't believe I haven't done yet for my yoga instruction certification is I get to come up with a master playlist for music that I will be doing my master class to. And I've been building the master class. I'm still in the early phases, but I haven't selected my music yet, and there'll definitely be a Pink Floyd song in there, 100% for sure. There's a lot of songs that I'm so excited to put in my master playlist, like Goo Goo Dolls, Iris, that one. Of course, a Weezer song will have to go in there, and Fiona Apple, and a whole bunch of others, Ricky Lee Jones, maybe Joni Mitchell, Neil Young. It's going to be fun putting that playlist together. So I can't believe I haven't done it. Like, anyway, maybe that's the next thing I'll work on. It's been intimidating being in the training and, working full time and, being a YouTuber. And I didn't tell people in my group, in my class, that I was a YouTuber the first class. And I felt like I was being dishonest because I was like hiding that. Like I didn't want to share it. I'm just like, it's none of their freaking business. But then I felt kind of bad. So the second class, I shared that with everybody, and everyone was like, "Ooh, YouTube!" It was funny, and I didn't say true crime, but I told them the name of my channel. I'm sure some of them have looked it up, but then it makes me self-conscious. Like, I kind of like to keep my YouTube life and my actual life segregated. Although I feel like I'm totally my authentic self here with you guys. I guess maybe in my my actual life, I'm just kind of shy, and I like to be a hermit. I don't like to expose myself to people that haven't earned it. Like, I just think that it's challenging to trust people. And if you are around other people, like they will play mind games with you. The whole thing that I always say about emotional combat, like, whether it's family, work, friends, you have to select the people that you allow into your personal space very carefully, because even the ones that you select carefully will still hurt you sometimes, like people get mean, they get jealous, they're having a bad day, I mean, people are just like that. Like, it's hard to trust, and when things happen, and it's not if things happen, it's when things happen, it's the rebuilding that creates the real character of the relationship. And I just, the older I get, the less exposure I want to have to people that have no business being in my inner circle. So, you know, like when I'm lifeguarding, like that's rough because anybody can show up at the pool. And it wouldn't matter if it was like Scammy Amy. If she was drowning, I'd have to save her freaking life. Of course. Of course. Like that's what you do. Like, so anyway, people can just be snarky and crap like that. And so, yeah, I haven't been lifeguarding so much, of course, because I have all this other stuff going on. Enough about me. Tesla, what you talking about? Justice for Idaho 4. 1981, Keddie, California. Tina was 12, kidnapped, later found unalive. Her mom, 15-year-old brother, and his friend were gagged and claw hammered to their demise. Her two little brothers and neighbor boy slept through it. Holy crap. Was the person ever caught? 1981, Keddie, California. Is that the Cabin 28 case? Um, let's see. Oh, that's so terrible. Tina, 12 years old. Yeah, if you guys caught my live yesterday, I feel like I want to start looking into that case in Iowa, Evansdale. I think Evansville is the one in Indiana. Anyway, this town of 5,000 people that had an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old cousins um, disappear, and then they were found 6 months later, unalive, I think 25 miles away from where they were last seen. And they were last seen riding their bikes in July in this small town. And the condition of their remains and the cause of death, I don't think any of that's ever been publicly released. But of course, there's rumors that the situation is very similar to Delphi. So it's still unsolved. An 8-year-old and a 10-year-old in a town of 5,000 people. It was in 2012. It's been 11 years. Their names, Elizabeth and Lyric Cook. Elizabeth, not Katie, but something like that, Kettle. Anyway, I feel like that's a case that needs to be checked out. As challenging as it is for me to look at these cases where kids have been victimized. I mean, Kylie's a kid. Kylie's a little kid. I mean, she's 16. She was almost a young woman, but she wasn't a young woman. She was a freaking child, a 16-year-old kid. One of my kids is 16 years old now. And my next oldest, I want to say he was 17 when this happened to Kylie. And he seemed to take it really personally. And he knew, that's the one who's in the military now. He knew the whole thing was a pile of crap from jump. He was just like, no, this is not what happened. And I think he personally has always felt kind of protective of Kylie Rodney. And of course, because he's in that same age range. And he's 19 now. So he's, like I said, a year older than what she was. She would be 18 now. But my next oldest child, who's the second from the youngest, he's 16 right now. And he's a child. I mean, he's working on getting his driver's license. He's more like 16 and a half. He'll probably get his driver's license before the new year. But he's smart, and he also has a lot of silly ideas. Like, he doesn't really know stuff. He's a kid. What I'm saying is that 16-year-olds are kids. And I know this because I live with one. Because it is hard to tell, especially with girls. You know, they do mature faster. So a 16-year-old girl sometimes can pass for 30. I know when I was 14, people thought I was in my 20s. And then once I was like in my 30s, people thought I was 20. It's just, sometimes it's really hard to tell women's ages, right? Anyway, with guys, it's sometimes easier. Hurt people. Yeah, I mean, these people are so deranged to hurt other people. So deranged. And then especially villains who select the vulnerable, you know? Like, criminals want to select the vulnerable because they don't want a challenge and they don't want to fail. So they want to select an easy target. And that's why women that are 5'1" and under are much more likely to become victims, especially of serial unalivers, than women who are taller than that. And, you know, I think people who say might actually be physically injured or emotionally injured, perpetrators look for that because it's going to give them more of an advantage. So, you know, they definitely look for people who kind of have the victim profile. And one of the first things you learn in self-defense training is to carry yourself confidently and to look up, you know, and not to look up like this, because if you're looking up too much, you look like a tourist, and that also can make you vulnerable. You know, people don't realize how vulnerable, I'm having trouble saying that word, vulnerable they are when they go to a place that they're unfamiliar with. It's so important when you're in a city that you're unfamiliar with, when you're at a gas station that you're unfamiliar with, when you're in a country that you're unfamiliar with. You have to pay attention to your surroundings, and it's always safest to be in places that you're more familiar with. Of course, that is not going to ensure your safety, but it is all relative. So it's good to stick with what you know. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because my goodness, we're already getting close to an hour and I was going to keep it short. So thanks so much for being here, you guys. Again, please share, subscribe, ring your notification bell, and hit that like button, even if it's out of the frame. It's completely out of the frame to me, but anyway, I do have some candles, and that's always fun. So hopefully you can see some of the candles, and you can see the moon in the upside down jellyfish tapestry. I recall that sad case. Yeah, I just looked. Interesting case. The one with Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins. Elizabeth Collins is the 8-year-old, and then Lyric Cook is the 10-year-old, and they're freaking cousins. And yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of information that I haven't had a chance to look into yet. It's really terrible. And it needs to be resolved. I mean, whoever did that is still on the loose potentially, unless they've unalived or got arrested for other stuff. But if they had been arrested for other stuff, they probably would have used that as a bargaining chip to get, you know, a plea agreement. They could have said, well, I'll help you solve an old cold case if you give me a hot deal, right? That's how they do it. That's how Gary Ridgway came clean on his Green River unaliving spree over 20 years. I think he confessed to like 70 of them, but he knew that there were dozens that he probably couldn't remember because there were so many. I haven't Googled to look and see what the number is, but I was in Seattle at the time that he was arrested. And, you know, I lived in Olympia at the time when he was still on the loose. And yeah, that whole thing was crazy. And just, you know, he kept pulling more names out, or not names. He did have some of their names because he did have some of their IDs and he did have some of their jewelry. But, you know, he would give locations. Well, I remember this one day being on Highway 2 right past the waterfall, and law enforcement would go out there and they'd find the remains of somebody who'd been out there for 20 years or 10 years or whatever. That was going on a lot when I was in Seattle, and I had way too much close knowledge of what was going on there. Anyway, what was my point? Just that, yeah, it's an addiction, and they lose track. So, you know, a real serial unaliver is, you know, unless they keep a journal of it, which, you know, some might, but then that's going to be used against them if anybody ever finds it. So most of them are not going to keep a journal of it. But some might, like that crazy woman in Dixon, Illinois, that stole the $53 million, the city official in the All the Queen's Horses movie that I think everybody should watch. That's a documentary on television. She kept scrupulous records of every single dime that she stole from her city of 8,000 people. She stole $37,000 a day on average every single day of the year every year for 22 years straight, you guys. $37,000 a day on average. $53 million. Rita Crundwell. Look her up. Anyway, yeah, she kept scrupulous records, so we can all thank her for that. But she is out of jail too, so there's no justice for people that do stuff like that. Like, imagine all the families she hurt when she was stealing all that money and laying people off because of budget cuts and cutting people's hours, and they weren't able to feed their families and pay their bills. Like, screw her, man. That's just awful. Absolutely awful. But a very good movie, All the Queen's Horses. And I think that it's a great education and that it applies to probably every freaking town and city across the country to much smaller scales. Like, this was off the charts. And she was the only one involved, allegedly, but I don't believe that. I don't think she could have done it by herself without anybody else's knowledge. I think that the bank employee that allowed her to open her own account at Fifth Third, where they had 6 city accounts, and then she opened a 7th that she was the only one who had access to. I think that that bank employee should be reprimanded at the very least, if not tried and convicted, because it's their job to know these things. They know, or it's their job to know. Also, the auditors that audited every year for the city, and all of these companies and these people paid millions of dollars in settlement money to basically get the feds off their backs so that they wouldn't have charges against them, because that's the legalese. They knew, or they should have known. And yeah, the auditor and the banker, and there were a couple others, but like the woman, the whistleblower who turned her in, was working next to her every day for 20 years. And the other thing I want to say about that case is that she was from that town. She grew up in Dixon. She graduated from the high school in Dixon. So to me, it's even weirder that she would do so much harm to the town that she's from, but completely sociopathic, like doesn't freaking care about anyone but her narcissistic self. The queen, all the queen's horses. Yeah, she had like over 200 thoroughbreds, because, she needed that. Every day, J.R. Nana Boomer. Crazy. Yeah, and crazy that it wasn't noticed, but it probably was noticed and people just turned a blind eye, or maybe she was paying people off. Denial is not just a river in Egypt, but yeah, she was cutting budgets of public safety departments, the police department, the fire department, the everything, utilities. The roads weren't getting improved. Like, she was taking all of the money home with her and then keeping scrupulous records of it in her house because she's that smart. Okay. Let's see. GPS is specific location and no. Oh, I'm having trouble reading these, you guys. I'm going to give up on trying to read them because I'm going to hurt my eyes. What I want to say, what you reminded me of, just with your first sentence there, and Valentina Dallas, hello. I'm glad that I saw that it was you. Thanks for coming in. It's just so hard to read because the glasses have all this glare. And the words are so tiny. And I should get my laptop this weekend, allegedly. Anyway, what I wanted to say is we all need to watch the new Brush Junkie drop. I wanted to watch it before I came on, but it was like 16 minutes and I wanted to come on right away. So I thought, well, I'll just watch it after. Please, guys, check this out. Ann Taylor and jury has got to see this. Let me see what I can read here, Valentina. The GPS and ADT or Brink or Ring is going to send police to the GPS of the cell phone ping where the resident is. They maybe on vacation, is lying to snoop into homes in Moscow. Yeah, I think the police there are preying on the students, just like the police in Pullman and just like the police at the Wazoo. They like to intimidate them, that's for sure. Let's see. It proves how they are lying about BK call or BK's cell. Right. And what about the 911 call that finally did come in from, was it Bethany's phone or was it Dylan's phone? Like, yeah. And then, yeah, there's just way too much secrecy. I mean, of course, they need to keep things on the down low until the case is resolved, but they're not really trying to resolve it, in my opinion. They're trying to do quite the opposite. Please, even though you don't really care for Lana on TNT, please so can shed light on in the issue related to this and give us your opinion. Watch her recent live. I can't watch her. I'm just going to say it. I just can't. I've tried. I can't force myself to anymore. And Vaughn in cops being trespassing. So, you know, I mean, she's one of the content creators that recycles my information. So I haven't like come straight out and said that, but I've seen her do it. Like, for instance, if you look back last February, I think was when I made the parallel between Meredith Kircher's case and Idaho 4. And then a couple of weeks later, she did it too. And sure, maybe she didn't see mine, but there's a definite pattern. So, you know, I mean, all I'm requesting is a shout out like any person with integrity would do. So, and maybe she came up with it on her own. I came up with it on my own, but you know, I like to give shout outs to True Crime Rocket Science every single time I bring up the Meredith Kircher case, because I didn't know jack about that case until I did a deep dive with all of his videos, and he really covered that case well. And yeah, I just, you know, so thank you for sharing. And yeah, I'm just gonna cut it there with my opinion about all that, because you know, I just don't like to get into the tit for tat, but yeah. Anyway, please guys check out Ann Taylor, and the jury has got to see this. And a lot of the information that she's saying is her new bombshell is stuff that I covered a couple months ago. So, grr. Anyway, you know, I don't like hype my stuff up. I don't like hype up my thumbnails. I don't hype up my my booms. I mean, I think I have a lot of booms, and I think a lot of people like take my information and pretend that it's theirs, and it's frustrating because, you know, I want the information to be out there, and imitation is the highest compliment. And it's not about me, it's about truth and justice and solving these cases. So I would much rather have people do that than not do that. But, you know, it's just kind of common courtesy and common decency. It's just a thing. Anyway, you know, people that want to pretend that all of the ideas are their own. I mean, I get my ideas from all over the place. A lot of them just like pop up in me brain, but I get them from other people too. I get them from watching all this different stuff and then letting it stew and letting it marinate. And when I swim or garden or meditate, like a lot of times I've got epiphanies and light bulbs, and some of the stuff that I see clearly, I'm like, how could I have not seen it clearly before? Like, am I that dumb? But then it's like nobody else is seeing it either. You know, sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. You can't see what's right in front of you. And when you're getting gaslit left and right. Anyway, I'm going to try to finish up with catching up and then sign off to my good people. If the cops are write to Lana on the phone about why they are opening people's doors without knocking or making self known. Blame it. So, like, for instance, the stuff with Brent Kopaka, like, I posted a video about it the day it happened because I was like, there's no way this stuff is not connected. And yeah, as far as like looking at the body cam footage, that a lot of it has been, a lot of like the dash cam video and stuff has been out for a long time. But, unless you've been on a SWAT team, it's really hard to be an armchair detective or a Monday morning quarterback, right? What is that? Like the armchair Monday morning quarterback? It's really hard to second guess and judge people. I mean, I know that they did a lot of things wrong, but I also know that seeing things on videotape, you don't get a full picture. You have to be there. And yeah, I mean, for instance, for the police to say that they had a warrant to search his apartment, like, that's like contraindicated with the whole SWAT team thing. So, do they even know what they're doing? I mean, it's their job to know what they're doing, so they need to figure it out. But, that guy, having served in the military and having earned a Purple Heart, was a protected person, and he was not treated with the protected person protocol that he should have been. So that whole thing was a crap show. But anyway, let's see. Just watch the vid if you can, because Moscow police. I'm being honest, I cannot watch. I just can't. I mean, I've tried recently and I just simply can't. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I just can't do it. So I don't care for her as a person. Don't get it twisted. LOL. I was just shocked at the cops lying right on the phone and problems, and most people would believe them, so you can check it out. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that I read through all your stuff, so I wasn't like thinking that you were a fan. I used to try to watch because I thought that there was some good information there too, but bullcrap. There we go. Okay, am I being too honest? I like to be honest with you guys. And I'm far from perfect, and I make mistakes, and I will apologize and cop to any mistakes that I make. And to me, it's the attitude. There's a lot of hubris and ego and narcissism that I just can't see past to get to the information anymore. I used to be able to force myself to do that, but it's just too painful. And there's a lot of good content creators out there. And, and I'm not even saying she's not good. I'm just saying me no like. So, if she wants to come after me, she's welcome to. I don't want the drama, but, I do like to keep it real. Okay. You are inspirational. How you address wrong doings of others, like Lana stealing your content. You do it with grace and love. You're just too sweet there, Valentina Dallas. I commend you, but this, if you can, click link, watch both the first 20 minutes. You're awesome. You're so nice. Thank you for all of that. I appreciate you very much. And yeah, I haven't seen you lately, so thanks for coming around, and thank you everybody. We are well over an hour. This is just kind of a regular live. I was kind of hoping that would happen actually. I was like, I'm tired, it's late, I'll just go on for a little bit and see what happens. So thanks again for being here, everybody. Thank you for your comments. Thank you to the replay crew. Sending you love, sending you light. I hope you guys all have a very nice, relaxing evening. I hope you can get some good nourishment. Maybe try a stretch or two. You know, sometimes even just your neck. Just starting with the neck. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be big, and you don't need to knock down your cool stuff. But yeah, just some neck stretches. Every little thing we do, I think, counts. It all adds up in the end. So drink your water, eat your protein, eat your veggies, get your rest, and just keep on keeping on, keep doing what you do, just being yourself. Like, seriously, you don't need to do nothing. Just be you and honor that. And, you know, if it's beautiful, bad and beautiful decisions, just run with it. All right. Oh, so as I turn it off, the first person to comment when I hit the end of stream will win the hematite black earrings. So good luck to everybody who's interested in winning. And then if you are the first person to comment, I will comment, and please send me your address to ship the earrings to. I can get them in the mail probably tomorrow if you give me your address tonight. Justice, ATOOZ@gmail.com. So peace out, sending you light and love, and good luck to anybody who wants to try to win. Take care.